Hey Shane, how you doing?
Yo, I'm better now.
Come on
It's
now.
good to be with you, man. I'm so pumped about
Good to see you.
this class and everything that we're doing together.
Come on.
SSU rocking it in the world right now. So yeah, man, really
We're
glad to see
trying.
you.
We're trying. Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like everybody knows you, but for those who don't know you, can you just let us know, tell us who you are, Shane, and what is this course that you're bringing to SSU this summer?
Totally, man. Well, my name's Shane Claiborne, and I am now a professor of theology and activism at
Come on.
SSU. Put that on
Yes.
your Rolodex resume. I'm a Tennessee boy that grew up in the Bible Belt. I fell in love with Jesus. And the deeper I fell in love with Jesus, the more I found myself at odds with versions of evangelicalism that seem to have a number of hypocrisies and holes in the theology. And I mean, some of that was just seeing it myself. I said I was pro-life, but really
Yeah.
only thought about one issue on that. And so I came up to Philly back in the 1900s, y'all. We've been building
Yo.
community on the north side of Philadelphia. We've got a little community called the Simple Way. And it started in that rich tradition of Christian activism in the vein of, the Catholic worker movement and Dorothy Day.
Come
Folks
on
used
now.
to call us the Protestant Catholic worker. We've always
Yes.
been a mix of folks, but I mean, I studied at Eastern University, but I got activated on the streets of Philadelphia. And really what sparked everything for our community, we're going to talk about this in the class, was a courageous group of moms who with their children were living on the streets and had no place to go. And they moved into an abandoned Catholic cathedral and
Yeah.
started living there. They said, this isn't just any building. This is God's house and God would welcome us here. So that started our community. And 30 years
Mm.
later, we're still building it, painting murals and got community gardens. We got a new shop around the corner where we chop guns up and
Yeah, I love
turn
it.
them into garden tools. So we might not necessarily do that in this class, but that might be the 301. I don't know. Yeah,
I
man.
like it. I like it. Let it be. Show. Okay, so for context, I mean, we're running a summer school. We have a bunch of friends who are coming together to run some courses. What's the name of the course that you're running?
The Irresistible Revolution.
I've
And
heard of this.
while that was the title of my first book, it's still like the fire in my bones is that Jesus did not come simply to make believers, but to form revolutionaries, for love, to sign people up for a movement that's about transforming the world. And, so much of Christianity that I grew up with was just about escaping this world and going to heaven, that if we're not careful, we ignore the hells that people are living through right now. And
Yeah,
we
yeah.
end up with a version of God that just cares about life after death and not life before death. And that's not the God I know. That's not the Jesus I know. So this class is about what Christianity is at the heart of it. And it is a call to reimagine the world and participate in not just going up when we die, but bringing God's dream on earth as it is in heaven.
Yeah, come on, man. So, question, why this course and why now?
Well, you're in the ethereal world of South Africa over there, I think, bro.
It's
But
true, it's true.
I'm here in the belly of the American empire, and
Yo.
we are in the thick of it. We see the ICE raids, we see mass shootings. We've got a president and administration that almost daily makes a mockery out of the fruit of the Spirit, the Sermon on the Mount, the Beatitudes, the things that Jesus says. And so this is not just a social and political crisis in America. It's a discipleship crisis. It's a spiritual
Yeah.
formation crisis. And part of why I say that is that on so many fronts, Christians are the obstacle to flourishing and liberation and justice. Now, that's not the only version of Christianity, and that's what this class is about, is that
That's
there's
right.
always been competing narratives of Christianity, some that stood on the side of slavery and colonization, and right now are standing on the side of racism and ICE raids and deportations and unimaginable, unchristlike things. So
Yeah.
while I'm a big tent guy, I believe in working with people that don't share my faith. I believe what we've got to do right now as Christians, and not just in America, but this is a global crisis. We're
Yes, it is.
exporting some of this
Yes.
toxic theology around the world. So that's why I think it's so important right now to come back to Jesus and to say
Mm,
that to care about welcoming immigrants and to show compassion for widows and orphans is not just a this is not a Republican or Democrat thing. This is a love
yeah.
thing. It's a Jesus thing. And
Yeah.
so let's reclaim our compassion and our heart for those that are most vulnerable.
Let it be. Let it be. Who do you think this class is best suited for, and what could participants who jump in expect?
To be honest, as I'm imagining this class, I want it to be really open to anyone. I think it will particularly resonate with folks that are very familiar with the fact that, well, one of my mentors said, all we got to do is twist the
Mm,
cross, and you get a swastika. So there are folks
Eish.
that are twisting the cross, that are
Eish.
weaponizing the Bible. And so it gives them too much power to allow that to be the only narrative. I mean, I also think, as someone who wants the world to know the goodness and the love of God in Jesus, that our faith is on the line. Our reputation is at stake when some of the
Mm,
loudest voices continue to try to support and defend the rhetoric and the policies of this presidential administration and the iterations of that are happening in other countries
yeah,
around the
that's right.
world. But all of us have seen the various religions distorted and twisted
Yeah.
in order to justify hatred and camouflage bigotry. And so I find a lot of commonality with those who are Muslims that have had their faith distorted by a
That's
violent
right.
version of it. And
Yeah.
Jewish folks are certainly not exempt, at how their faith can be weaponized. And so it's powerful to see folks of all faiths and folks that are not religious at all, but are compelled by their conscience and their heart to stand up for vulnerable people
Mm,
right now. So I don't know, man. It's a broad brush, but that's who it's for.
yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people that, like Gandhi, they love Jesus. They just wish the Christians acted more like him.
Yeah. Amen. Let it be. Is there anything else, like topic related, that you think people should know?
Well, this is my first class at St. Stephen's University, and I'm so pumped about it. I hope it's not the last. So I hope to continue to build this out, and I'm learning as I go. I mean, I've done some teaching in universities and
Yeah.
everything, but I'm really excited to go deep with a few folks and to really dive in ways that you don't. I'm not really a hit and run preacher, but I do a lot of traveling and speaking.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
nothing gets me more excited than being able to actually not just talk at people, but talk with them, and
Mm,
even hear things that are new thoughts for folks that maybe they've not thought about, something like the death penalty, or rethinking how we understand why Jesus died. And so I think those things are really important, both the beliefs and what those beliefs look like as they move us to action in the world.
yeah. Yeah. Well, Shane, I
And
mean,
by the
we
way, the last thing I'll say, bro, is you all are a powerhouse team and you have created this incredible cloud of witnesses. That's what we're trying to do at Red Letter Christians. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
we know, like, we say we're harmonizing, but not homogenizing. And these
Yes.
voices are coming together to sing the same song. We're not always playing exactly the same instrument, but it's that symphony that's coming out of SSU that I think we need right now. So I'm honored to join the dream team there, bro. Yeah.
Sure. Well, I was just about to say, I mean, we are chuffed at SSU to be walking in partnership with you and with Red Letter to find more and more ways of collaboration. I mean, we are walking in a season right now where, again, like the beast of empire is got its gnarly teeth going, right? And so it's a season where, the more and more we can work in collaboration and resonate the gifts that we have with one another, we want to do it all we can. And so, Shane, we're so excited to have you come and bring this course to SSU. So, one last question that I want to ask you while I have you. I mean, you mentioned already, I mean, you're living in the States, you're in America, you're navigating the complexity of all the pain that's happening there. You also mentioned like this is a universal season right now where we're watching a genocide unfold in Gaza and in Sudan and in Congo, and authoritarianism and new forms of fascism are all about us. And there's a whole generation of young folks in particular growing up in the midst of that, trying to wrestle with the question of faith and what it means to be faithful in the midst of that type of violence swirling about. So, what would you say to young folks right now who are wrestling with what faithfulness looks like, with how to engage their neighborhoods and their worlds in light of the depth of violence and pain and confusion that's swirling around?
It's hard to miss the fact as you read scripture that we are to be God's sort of holy counterculture in the world. I mean, that was what the Hebrew people were as God rescued them from enslavement in Egypt. And you see God kind of forming this society. I mean, the early Christians they were crucified and executed and killed for a reason, that they were disrupting and challenging the way the world is and living for love and hospitality and care for those that are vulnerable. So, I mean, you just read the Gospel of Luke where there's this vision that the mighty will be cast from their thrones and the lowly will be lifted up. The hungry will be filled and the rich will be sent away empty. And that's not Karl Marx. That's the Song of Mary. That's the Gospel of
Mm,
Luke. And so it's so important that our tradition as Christians in particular, we've been resisting empires and speaking truth to power for hundreds and hundreds of years. And even
yeah.
before that, the Jewish tradition, there's so much that we have to lean on right now. But when you look at Jesus, the images that he gives for the church or the disciples, the followers of Jesus they're contrast images, light in the darkness, salt on the earth, leaven that makes its way through the bread. And as
Right.
our brother Otis Moss says, salt melts ice.
Yeah.
Come
I love
on,
it.
somebody got a whole sermon there, right? So I think
Mm,
that's that's what we are to do. Like if in the darkest nights you see the brightest stars, like this is time to shine. It's time to challenge the things that are crushing our neighbors. As our
mm,
brother Stanley Hauerwas says, he takes that metaphor one more iteration, says that Christians are meant to be like air fresheners in the toilet. We should leave off the fragrance of Jesus in the world. And so
mm,
there's a lot of filth. There's a lot of stank out there. So right now we need to leave off the fragrance of love, the fragrance of Jesus. And, I think of the words in Romans that we are not to conform to the pattern of this world, but we are to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. And that's what
mm.
St. Stephen's is doing. That's what my class is going to be about, is living with imagination so that we don't conform to the patterns of this world that are so out of sync with God's dream for it. And Dr. King named three of those, right? As
Yeah.
racism, materialism, and militarism. So we might have a few names, more names today, but we can start with those triplets of evil and say, as
Mm,
Christians, we are meant to be nonconformists. We are meant to be, as Dr. King said, maladjusted people, because there is stuff we do not want to be adjusted to.
yeah.
So I hope that's what we continue to do at SSU is send out some wholly maladjusted people into the world that refuse to accept the world as it is
Hmm.
and insist on building the world that God dreams of, where the last are first, the first are last, the peacemakers are the children of God, and we beat our swords into garden tools. Come on, we're going to do it together. Because I think it's not just about preaching it. We need people that are doing the work, because faith
Yeah.
without works is dead. So this is a school of revolutionaries and of activists and of folks who don't just want to write books and preach good sermons, but want to transform the world. And I'm just honored to be a
Mm.
part of it.
Thank you, Shane. Thanks for shining.
Yeah, you too, man. I'm looking forward to it. You can help me on them forms, but then I'm gonna be ready to roll, bro. I'm gonna be ready to roll.